that bait.
Do it live, Todd. Do it live.
No, we're doing that pool the other day. People wanted us to get in the pool.
Nope. I want to get reelected. We're not.
Hey, I saw you at the Loyal game. You got relatively good guns. From Big City Mayor.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, we're going to get started in just a moment. If everyone can maybe get into position. I hate to break up a lovely concert that was happening, guys. Thank you for the beautiful music. Let's filter in. I know it's arts people. I know we love seeing each other. We've missed each other, right? Very good. All right, let's dive in, shall we? I got to put the council back to work, right? We got to get your money's worth out of here. All right, everyone set? We're all good? All right, fantastic. Good morning, everyone. I'm San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria. It is incredible to be with you all this morning here at Bread and Salt in Barrio Logan. You know, I was remarking with some of my colleagues here, it's been a while since we've all been together, and it is wonderful to see everyone here today. Thank you all for joining us this morning. I'm joined by a great group of council members and arts leaders. Let me tell you who they are right here from the top. City Council Member Raul Campillo, Council Member Joe LaCava, Council Member Stephen Whitburn, Vicki Estrada, a member of the California Arts Council, Julie Baker, the Executive Director of Californians for the Arts, Thomas DeMello, artist and curator for Bread and Salt, and Jonathan Gless, who is our amazing, incredible City Commission for Arts and Culture Executive Director. I love that applause. We do have incredible city leadership, and Jonathan is definitely one of them. And Mariachi Torres, who is here. Give it up for him. Giving us some great music. Wonderful. I want to just note at the outset, we are here in Councilmember Vivian Moreno's district this morning, and sadly she's not able to join us, but we applaud her leadership, and we want to recognize her hardworking staff who are also here with us today. So the Council District 8 staff, thank you for joining us this morning. So I got some good news to share with you all, and I'm really delighted to be able to share it. I thought Barrio Logan is a particularly appropriate place to host this event, as it's one of the only 2 state-designated cultural districts in San Diego. I know. We're pretty proud of that, too. This neighborhood is fertile ground for so much of the unique creative economy, where galleries and creative businesses, Chicano and Mexican-American cultural expression, and artists of all types and all mediums come together to create a truly dynamic community. And Bread and Salt really embodies that spirit, where contemporary art, community, and culture all come together to build a sustainable creative hub for economic empowerment. And that brings me the joy that I get to be here with you all today to kick off California Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month right here in America's finest city. Let's give it up for April, everybody. This is a statewide effort to share the value that arts and culture have in our lives and in supporting local artists who put their heart and soul into everything that they do and into their communities every single day. I want to remind everyone, more than 100,000 San Diegans are employed in our creative economy, which generates more than $11 billion in economic activity every single year. Not too shabby. I personally think the arts are fine on their own, but it does have a benefit if there's an economic impact. So those 2 things together makes it pretty awesome. The power of art is what helped us get through the most difficult times of the COVID-19 crisis. But I want to note that, unfortunately, nonprofit arts and culture were among the hardest hit sectors during the pandemic, both here in San Diego, statewide, and across the United States. Now, the city of San Diego tried to be a helpful actor in this difficult time, responding to the needs of artists and creatives through SD Practice, an effort that increased our city's civic art collection with new local artwork and Park Social, a temporary public art initiative that commissions local art for the city's park system. Now, you'll be seeing those works of art in our parks across the city in the next month, and you can come to City Hall, and including my office, to see some of those wonderful art pieces that were collected over the last year. You know, it's not the cutest building that's ever happened, but some art that hopefully helps distract the eye from that otherwise unremarkable architecture. Listen, was that subtle enough? This group gets subtlety. We'd like to recognize the members of our arts community that are here with us today, and to thank each of them for making San Diego a better place through your talent, through your passion, and through your creativity. And with that, it gives me pleasure to proclaim for and on behalf of the people of San Diego that April 2022 be Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month in the city of San Diego. The big reveal. Can I give this to you?
Yes,
Absolutely. Well, of course. We'll take more. Now, that was just one, right? So we now have the declaration of the month. But the next part is truly exciting to share with you all, because this is more than a month. This is going to be a multi-year effort that I think will really pay incredible dividends to San Diego. So let me share with you now. Today, I am announcing that the city of San Diego is kicking off a cultural planning process that we call the Creative City. This is the first time that the city has engaged in the development of a comprehensive citywide cultural plan to help us advise and guide future investments in arts and culture. And what a better way to announce it than this first day of Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month in California. Now, these folks know what a cultural plan is. These folks, let me explain, okay? Slated to begin this year, this is an 18-month community engagement and planning process that will result in a 7 to 10-year policy and planning framework for the city that will do two things. Number one, guide our investments in arts and culture, and number two, align our city's cultural investments with the broader priorities of our amazing city. At its core, this initiative is about equity. For the first time, the community will tell us at the city how they define arts and culture. The city of San Diego is the largest holder of cultural assets in the region, and we provide the greatest amount of annual nonprofit arts and culture funding in our region. As we update and refine our policy framework to include the recently adopted Parks Master Plan and our updated Climate Action Plan, it is important that we identify a cultural policy to align with our overarching goals as a city. Arts are not siloed off into a corner of the city. It is integral to everything that we do, and this plan will reflect that. We need to make sure that our creative workforce can afford to live and work here. That was yes. Can I repeat that? Allow me to repeat for emphasis. The mayor says we need to make sure that our creative workforce can afford to live and work here. Everybody, housing is a part of our cultural plan. And we also have to make sure that job training in the arts is available for all San Diegans. Now, under my administration, we are dedicated to doing this work, and the cultural plan will solidify this commitment. And we plan to complete this cultural plan in early 2024, which is just in time for the San Diego-Tijuana region to host the World Design Capital. And yeah, kudos to the folks that made that happen. Let me just remind everyone, we beat out Moscow for that, right? That was prescient, right? Let's repeat that again or two. In 2024, we're going to invite the eyes of the world to the San Diego Baja region, and what a wonderful time to get this plan completed and really connect everyone to understand how innovative design and creative power can build our brand on a global stage. And so that's enough of a preview. I want to just conclude by saying thank you to our city staff for their dedication to get us to this point. Jonathan and his team at the Arts and Culture Commission. all of the city workers that are involved. The Arts and Culture Commission is important, but the finance people, the planning people, the procurement people. We got an RFP that's going out shortly. I mean, everyone is a part of this effort, and I'm grateful to be able to lead our talented staff of public employees, as well as our nonprofit partners who make this all possible and will make it more likely that this will be a great and tremendous success. With that said, there's nothing I can do as a mayor that doesn't involve the support of an outstanding city council. I have several of our great members behind us. One of the greatest, of course, is the Economic Development Chair. And Julie and I were talking about a moment ago. He understands that economic development includes arts and culture. And isn't that wonderful to have the chair of the Economic Development Committee understand that arts and culture are a part of economic development? Am I right? He's a passionate advocate for the arts. He is my friend and the council member from District 7, Raul Campillo. Councilmember Campillo.
Thank you, Mayor Gloria, for that kind introduction, and welcome everybody. My name is Raul Campillo, and I'm proud to be the chair of the San Diego City Council's Economic Development and Intergovernmental Relations Committee. And I'm proud to stand here alongside the mayor and my council colleagues and so many members of the arts and culture community in support of this industry that provides good-paying jobs and a great product for the world to see that San Diego is a world-class city. Arts and culture initiatives provide residents and tourists with unique experiences and create vibrant communities across our city. And our arts and culture industry is an essential part of our economy. It provides jobs, cultural experiences, resources to our community, education, while also bolstering the region's tourism, which we so heavily rely on for revenue for our crucial programs and our basic city services. I remember being at the day we were at the Rady Shell, talking to the team from the World Design Capital, and I mentioned to the person that I was the chair of economic development, and that was the committee in which we have arts and culture overseen and reviewed and funded. And I was so happy to hear him say, "That's exactly how we do it in Canada. I'm really glad you do it that way too." Win for me. There we go. Win for the city, really. Many arts and culture organizations are small businesses, and it is a top priority of mine to continue supporting these small businesses, especially as we enter the post-pandemic recovery. And this is a top priority of my committee and my fellow colleagues, and I know it is a priority shared by the mayor. One aspect I'm really excited about is, of course, as I mentioned, the 2024 World Design Capital designation, which will together feature San Diego and Tijuana as a region. And people all over the world are going to see what an asset it can be to be a border city, to be a bi-national community. Food, architecture, music, theater, museums, infrastructure, so much more. I think it was so appropriate that the committee that formed the bid chose that the theme would be home. Because whether you live in San Diego or in Tijuana, mi casa es su casa, and we're going to show that to the world. Now, those in the creative economy know that my door is always open to you and to hear your ideas and suggestions and input on how we can strengthen the creative economy, because we know a rising tide lifts all ships. And so your success is our collective success. I think of, I forget where I heard it one time in my life, but there is a connection between society, progress in society, and the progress in the arts. Just looking back at history, the age of Pericles was the age of Phidias. The age of Lorenzo de' Medici was the age of Da Vinci. The age of Galileo was the age of Shakespeare. The age of Einstein was the age of Frida Kahlo. These two things are intimately connected, and so I am so proud to be part of a city council, a city government with the mayor that supports the arts and culture community. It is about progress together. So I'm thrilled to be here today to kick off the California Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month here in San Diego. The last thing I'd say before I introduce really a hero of our San Diego region is economic development. We think of it as jobs, we think of it as money and revenue, but I always think back to that line from Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society, where he says, "Surely medicine and engineering, science and law are necessary to sustain life, but architecture and music, dancing and poetry, surely these are the things we live for." So I look forward to supporting all of you in this community, all your workers and your families that rely on it, because surely what you provide to our community is the thing we live for. So allow me to introduce a hero, someone who is such a big heart and understands how important arts and culture is to San Diego and the entire state of California, Vicki Estrada.
Thank you. I don't usually write my speeches, but today is a little bit different. This is pretty important to me. I've been a San Diego resident since 1955 and have seen a lot of new ideas and programs. Some were great, some not so great. But we learned from our mistakes. Our unique geographic setting, coupled with our unique culture, provided us with so many opportunities to truly integrate arts and culture with nature and our urban environment, making our region truly magnificent. We have missed a lot of those opportunities. We're not going to miss this one. As a landscape architect, urban planner, musician, a former San Diego Commissioner for Arts and Culture, and now a member of the California Arts Council, I have seen how arts and culture and the creative community can truly change neighborhoods and places. We now have an opportunity with this upcoming Creative City program to go back and heal some of the scars that we have left on our hearts and souls of our people, our public spaces and our natural spaces, using art and culture as the cure. A little personal story here. I did not know English until I was 5 years old. And I remember being told in kindergarten at Central School up here in City Heights that I'm an American now and I need to become part of the American culture. Forget Spanish. She said, don't use the name that was given to you by your parents. Use this name instead, an American name. That really did happen, and to some degree it was understandable, but this absorption came at the expense of ignoring the culture created by my Mexican and Yaqui Indian ancestors. In college, I was engaged and thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life with my fiancé, but I was told by my fiancé's father that as close as he wanted a Mexican to their family was their gardener. I didn't know how to react to that. We did not get married. I have never forgotten this, but it is through the arts and creativity that I have reconnected with my past. Although those memories and scars remain somewhat, they have been healed by my music, my culture, and our arts through places like the Old Globe, Starlight, Humphreys, and Liberty Station. Where's Alan? There's Alan. There are many others with similar stories, young and old. But now we know that it is this combination, this mixture, this eclectic stew of cultures that makes us who we are, and we as Americans are so fortunate as a result. We need to celebrate this, not to ignore it, not to forget it, and I truly believe that at the intersection of our economy, mobility, parks, climate change, housing, our community spaces, and our unique built and natural environment lies an unopened gift that contains a diamond that is made from the arts of our culture and our history, and it's just waiting to be unlocked and opened by our combined creativity. The Creative City program will begin to unwrap this gift. I'm going to introduce Julie Baker. She is now has been for a while, the Executive Director of Californians for the Arts. Thank you.
Well, I would say that's a tough act to follow. I just want to also say that I couldn't think of a better place, and I'm sorry all the other cities in California, to launch Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month. I mean, when Jonathan Glass, who is on our board at Californians for the Arts, said, what more can we do than a proclamation? And I stood on the street corner in Northern California, and we started to brainstorm, and here we are today. So great job, Jonathan. Thank you so much. On behalf of our board president, Ron Muriera, who wishes he could be with us in person today, but he lives in San Jose, and our San Diego representatives of the board of the statewide advocacy organization, including Jonathan Glass, Victoria Hamilton, Felicia Shaw, DeLuge Smith, and Bridget Cantu-Ware. My name is Julie Baker, and I am the Executive Director of Californians for the Arts. And along with our small but mighty team, Eduardo, Tracy, and Cara, it is my pleasure to thank San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria, who has been an outspoken leader for arts and culture, Councilmember Campillo and the other council members here, and our community and institutional partners and our statewide champions for making this 2022 Arts, Culture, and Creative Month launch possible. In 2019, California Arts successfully campaigned for the state to recognize and celebrate the arts by declaring April as Arts, Culture, and Creativity Month, or as we call it, ACCM because it's a mouthful, through a concurrent resolution passed in the California Senate. In 2021, an additional resolution was declared to recognize artists as second responders, the idea that arts heal. Our organization directs this annual month-long spotlight on the arts to raise visibility and awareness about the value of our sector, to empower arts advocates to take action, and to spur greater investments in our industry and workforce. This year's theme, The Arts Work, provide weekly opportunities to explore and establish how the arts work to heal, to build community, to advance justice, to empower youth, and to create jobs. As we gather today in Barrio Logan, one of the 14 state-designated pilot cultural districts, and welcomed by the Community Arts Center, Bread and Salt, where they remind us in their current exhibition, current times necessitate a radical paradigm shift, end quote, we recognize the transformative and inspirational power of the arts to examine the difficult truths and tell the stories that cultivate connection, community engagement, civic pride, and social cohesion. Arts and culture foster imagination and drive innovation to build healthy communities. They also drive economic health. In California, arts and cultures industries deliver $225 billion in economic value, ahead of construction, transportation, and retail. But at the same time, these last 2 years has shown the vulnerability of the arts and culture workforce, with 100,000 art jobs lost in California. And this is just people who are W-9 employees. And we know that that arts workers are 3 times more likely to be self-employed in California between 2019 and 2020. We must provide the needed investments to rebuild this workforce with an emphasis on providing equitable funding for communities of color and historically oppressed communities. If you believe artists should be centered in community development and economic development and given more than just applause, but living wage opportunities, and that we should prioritize equitable distribution of increased and sustained public funding for the arts, then join us this month and learn how you can engage to influence the California state budget, to allocate funding to the creative workforce, arts education, cultural districts, small budget performing arts organizations, museums, and lift the state agency's baseline budget from 66 cents per capita per person in the state of California, that represents 25% of the nation's creative economy, to at least $1. So $1 for the arts. We invite you to join us in this movement to prioritize the creative workforce and end the paradigm of the starving artist. Now more than ever, we must provide support for our state's artists, cultural bearers, and creative workers to help us visualize and build a future that is filled with equity, justice, and inclusion. Deepest gratitude to all who have seen the value of our creative industry. Let us move forward together using arts, culture, and creativity as our guides to strengthening all of our communities. The future of California is creative. Investing in arts today is a good investment for tomorrow. We must fortify the sector's recovery and invest in its promise. The arts work for California. We now ask that California work for the arts. Thank you so much. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Thomas DeMello, artist and curator for Bread and Salt, this amazing place.
Thank you all so much for coming to Bread and Salt. My name's Thomas DeMello. I'm the curator for the Bread and Salt main gallery. I'd like to tell you a little bit about the building and the history. The building's a former bakery. It was started by the Kramer family in 1891. It remained a bakery until 2006. In 2013, we had our first exhibition, and we've been creating programming ever since. That's all through the generosity of Jim Brown and Isabel Dutra, the founders of Bread and Salt. It's all paid out of pocket through them. Today, at the end of the block, you can find Mujeres. It's a woman-owned and operated brewery. They're just on the right-hand side over here. Just after that, it's Kathleen Mitchell's glassblowing studio. It's the only indoor glassblowing studio in San Diego. Very special to have it here. In the main gallery is Irma Sofia Potter's exhibition, her first solo exhibition in San Diego in a long time. Just next to that is Not an Exit Gallery, where you can see Jim Brown's work. We do have an artist-in-residence program. Walker Hewitt's our current artist-in-residence. His work is just behind us. In the far lobby, we have 4 independent galleries. These are all galleries that are independently funded. Ice Gallery is a site-specific gallery. Jamie Franks is the artist. She's right here. She'll be able to answer questions the gallery's open to. Next to them is Best Practice, also another funded gallery through Best Practice, Joe Yordi and Ali Munt. Quint 1 is just next to them. They're based out of La Jolla. Quint's been in San Diego for over 40 years. Athenaeum, just next to them, has been in La Jolla for over 100 years. Their satellite space is just here in the building. Next to that is Jason Lane's design studio. All these spaces will be open. Everybody should definitely go visit. Thank you very much.
Thomas, thank you for that. Thank you for hosting. I hope everyone will take him up on the offer to check out some of the artist spaces that are here and understand why this is such an important part of the city's arts and culture scene. I want to thank everyone for being here today. Happy ACC month. That is easier to say. ACCM month. Sorry, that was for Tom. For Bob. Okay, so ACCM month. ACCM. Oh, my God. It's a tough job, y'all. And be on the lookout for Creative City as we roll that out and get that work underway. It's going to be a multi-year effort to get the plan together and then a multi-year effort to actually deploy it in the community. But what you heard from myself, from Chairman Campillo, from Council Members Whitburn and LaCava is a city that absolutely understands that we are more than a collection of buildings. It is the arts that is the connective tissue between the beautiful buildings that we're trying to create, and that you all are incredible. You make us all so proud with the offerings that you give to our city and to visitors alike. And we want to stand shoulder to shoulder with all of you as we do more of that. As our city grows and changes, that we make sure that those changes are curated in ways that uplift quality of life, that make the everyday lives of all San Diegans better. I'm truly in awe of what you do, whether it's at Liberty Station, Balboa Park, all the other amazing cultural institutions tucked away in every neighborhood of this city. What you do makes our city so much better. And today's announcement hopefully is a signal that City Hall knows that, understands that, and this relationship that is already close will be much closer in the years to come. Thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate it.